So I wanted to bring up the way this all goes down. As a reminder, of course, Scrushy's going to resign because, well, the news is out that they've inflated the books and Scrushy has sold some stock before an earnings report comes out that shows that that stock is going to come down. So he's in a whole host of trouble. And now seemingly you've got everything to this point where we've just got to sell Health South, what's left of it, on taking this deal. And you do it. The call happens. The wrangling is through. It feels as if everybody's on the same page. Health South still needs to sign off on their end, but on the call, everyone agrees. But somewhere in here, your attorney has gone missing, according to your dad's book. What do you remember of that?
Gosh, I don't want to give too much of a countrified analogy, but when a big bull walks into a new field, folks scatter and run off and, hey, I'm going to let this bull saunter through, and this big bull can do whatever he wants at any time. And Bob Carter did that. The big bull came into the pasture and this person went away and that person went away. And I can't say that the attorney didn't have a vacation or whatever it is, but she knew what was coming. She knew the chips were not going to fall in her favor. And look, she was a business person, a fantastic, well-skilled, but that still doesn't make it taste any better. So she probably is like, I'm tapping out for the long weekend, and maybe the long weekend extended. I don't recall. My dad might have been a little bit maybe colorful here that she went away and went MIA. But there was time frames between everyone Bob was dealing with or Panda was dealing with. But again, I'm going back to the crash course. There was another big bull that was the lead bull before Bob came in, and that was Health South. And so after the dust had all settled, they still had to dot some I's and cross some T's. And in their defense, their attorneys on their side, they're like, hey, we're going to take it on the chin here, but let's not just roll over. Let's make it a challenge. Again, they're paid, salary down there in Birmingham and Health South and whatever it was. So that last bullfight wasn't really a fight, but they made it look good for a while because Bob held all the chips. He was funding it.
So Panda starts making demands before the deal is even finalized about legal and accounting stuff that you already had set up. And then, of course, they're having conversations within demand. And this is within deals of making the deal. And really not everything is even signed off on yet, but they're knee deep in the business. Do you view that as a good thing or a bad thing?
I know you know what a bridge loan, but you can probably give our listeners, a description of what a bridge loan is.
Gets you from one deal to the next. It's not your permanent financing on either side, but it's going to hold you over till you get your next deal.
Father. So the bridge loan happened, but then Bob instructed his team to do due diligence. And again, another fascinating time in my life that I really got educated on how in depth it went, because Bob said yes to the bridge loan, but he wasn't closing the deal until he got the deal he wanted. And that went with in demand, lowering some guarantees. Look, my personal accountant, who's still with me to this day, as you would know, in our Slapnuts LLC, he's the guy you see on the emails. But no, they got pushed out. And so that deal had to be finalized. So accounting, legal, Health South, in demand, vendors. Bob made sure his team knew and what they were getting into. I loved it. It wasn't fun all the time, and I know my dad's got his feelings hurt. And
yeah, but still, when I read that in your dad's book, and I sort of read between the lines that maybe it hurt your dad's feelings too. Like, man, we don't even have everything done, and they're already wanting to take a peek. But that's the way business is done, and you want someone who's invested, who not just financially, to not be that silent partner. Hell, this is what you were looking forward to. You want a partner to take care of that. Let me book wrestling, right?
That's right. And it really was that simple. And they got in and one of the things that I thought was fascinating is that they did have conversations with Bob Ryder and Jeremy Borash and Ron Harris and anybody. I mean, they weren't afraid to pick up the phone and start calling around. Chris Sobel was the I'm not sure exactly what title they gave him, but he was the Panda rep who was in Nashville a couple of days a week. I mean, he had conversations with talent, with vendors. It was his job, and Bob Carter sent him to Nashville. Dude, go up there and find out everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And he did. He ruffled a lot of feathers.
Let's talk about something from your dad's book here. Quote, Panda Energy then played hardball with Jeff concerning our original investment of $1 million. They advised that our loan was to be considered an equity stake and not a loan to JSE. In other words, Panda wanted us to pay the interest and not the company. I advised Jeff that we were not in a position to do anything except go along with Panda at the present time. However, as soon as the deal is done and our names are removed from the loans to Health South, the power would revert back to our side because we're the only members of this team that know the wrestling business. Your response?
I remember, the call, if you will. This is how we're going to convert your debt to equity. And, I was at 29% and my dad was, what was it, in the teens. And so I looked at it like, okay, let's roll. Let's make this work. I understood, again, I had the blessing of my accountant, basically making sure that I understood everything. I can't say that my attorney was still around at that point, but I wanted to make sure I understood, and I got it. I mean, I totally got the conversion. And again, at this point, maybe we were probably into late September, early October at this point. I got it that they had done the bridge loan. We were up and running, or continue running, and they were going to write checks. And so I was grateful and blessed. And like you just said, we've had a 2-month, a 3-month craziness. Let's get back to producing good content the best we can. And I knew that was the focus that needed to happen.